Hello. Can anybody in the chat room hear me? So I'm being told that I can be seen and heard. So that's a good start. Okay, so let's have a little recap of where we are, shall we? So I'm going to say it was about the day after I did the last stream. I set up folding at home, and I set that up on the advice of Kim. And I'm not blaming Kim in any way, shape, or form for this, but I set up folding at home and I left it running overnight after last week's stream. And that machine won't switch on anymore. And I mean, it just doesn't boot at all. So I think the CPU might have got fried a little bit. So I had to make a little bit of a change, and that change is to use my Mac now for doing both the streaming and the hosting of the VM. So whereas before I would use my Mac for dipping in and out of Twitter, seeing what's going on, blah 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 blah, I'm now doing everything on the Mac. So I haven't got the Windows machine anymore. So I'm hoping that this is all going to work. It's meant I've had to set up OBS again, so things are not quite exactly the same as they were before. The chat, I think the sound is more clear or better. So that's an interesting comment, because that was the one thing that I was very much concerned about, because hi Kim, the plugins for OBS on Mac they don't seem to be as advanced as the ones for Windows. So one of the things that I was concerned about was the mic quality, and I'm sort of waiting for my heater to come on as well to see if that's going to interfere with the background noise or not as well. But yeah, so I was just saying, Kim, I'm now running OBS on my Mac, and I've had to set up a few things. Things aren't quite exactly the same. Like the chat, the text in the chat seems to be a little bit bigger than it was before. I'm not overly fussed by it, but it just seems a little bit bigger. Text is huge. Well, I will tinker with that a little bit. Basically, today's stream is literally just about getting things set up again. So I'm streaming, I'm recording. I have my VM set up, as you can see in the background. Green screen is all up and running. I'm not the setup of the green screen and the setup of the desk. I'm not entirely convinced by yet, but we will play with that a little bit. Line height, there could be something in there. Like I said, I literally copied and pasted from Streamlabs into the add-in in OBS just now, but it's been fun. And I see. Thank you for that, Maurice. That might help actually in terms of tinkering with that. Kim's. Sorry, I'm going to try very hard to not confuse people's names this week. Maurice has just sent me a screenshot comparison between the text from last week and from this week. So I'll tinker with that. Chat's working, so that's the main thing. But anyway, so that aside, I still haven't properly investigated Kim. I know we spoke about a little bit on Getter. I haven't fully investigated what's wrong with the Windows machine yet, but I will. No from chat and Twitch, and it's fried. It could well be fried. Like I say, the PSU light comes on. I hit the on button. PSU comes on, but nothing after that. Like I say, I was saying to Kim, there's no BIOS beeps, there's no nothing. Kim suggested maybe changing to check and see the CMOS battery, getting that replaced. I've literally done nothing. When it wasn't outputting to the monitor, I simply stopped and thought I need to get something working over the weekend. So I got it up and running on my Mac. So that's kind of where we are. I was sort of, it helped that over the weekend, I needed OBS for other reasons, mainly because my eldest child wanted to do two things. One was to read her granny and granda the Gruffalo story in front of the green screen so that she could send that to them while they're self-isolating. So that was fun. I got that set up for her. And we also had another game of Family Bingo. So it meant, like I say, getting things working with OBS on my Mac so that we could do all of those things. And yeah, indeed, bingo. It went really well, actually. She did the bingo calling, so she was calling out the numbers. I had a little website that I was updating with the numbers as she was calling them out, so that they came up above her head on the green screen on OBS. So it worked out really well. So, like I say, my hand was forced to get that working. So it seems to be working. So we shall carry on with that today. Now, where we got to last Monday was we were working on Chocolatey GUI, and the intention was that we would get to a point with mat apps where things were working with our custom dialogue. So I played with it a little bit over the weekend as well, and I have it just about working. And I messaged Jan in Twitter to see if he's going to drop into the chat later on, just to see how we're getting on. So he said he might. But where I want to get to first of all is I want to test out something. So one of the things I want this new functionality in Chocolatey GUI to do is to retrieve the version numbers of the current package. So right now, if we do Chocolist, let's use Adobe Reader as an example, and we say exact, and we say all versions, then right now, Chocolatey will come back with exactly one version. Now that is a known bug in the current version 10.15 of Chocolatey. It should come back with all the version numbers for that specific package that it found. So what I have got a local version. If I do Choco upgrade Chocolatey from source temp packages, and I say --pre, then what that should give me is a pre-release version of Chocolatey that has a fix for that Chocolist bug. And I'm seeing in the chat room that Jan has just stepped in the chat room. Hello, Jan. Thank you very much for coming along. So now if I run Choco, I have a pre-release version. And if I run that list Adobe Reader, that will need to be run with, it's an unofficial build. So it needs to be run with the flag allow unofficial. But if I run that, there we go. That gives me all of the package versions for that one. So that's fixed that bug. So I should be able to use that version, or rather, I've confirmed that is now working the way we want it to. I should be able to pull in an updated version of the chocolatey.lib into Chocolatey GUI so that we get more than one package version returned. But where I got to over the weekend was, let's have a look at where we got to. So I made some slight changes from the way we left the custom mat apps, custom dialogue. Made a few slight tweaks. I basically made it look more like the version that comes from the mat apps demo application. So what we now have, if I click on Chocolatey, and let's just use the Adobe Reader one that I was using before. Now, it should still come back. It should still only have one package version. But if we double click into this one, we've still got our install advanced here. If I click on that, I've now got some code in here that will run off and try and fetch the available package versions, I should say. So right now, we've only got that one, the latest one. And if I run the custom dialogue, what we have now is, it's amazing. Right, feel free to say it. It looks amazing. right? Feel free to say that as many times as you want. But what we do have now is that I have bound those package versions to this combo box. So that will now be populated with available package versions. And you can obviously select one. And then in here, you could put in some package versions, test, or package parameters, I should say. So test package parameters. And then in here, we could say test install arguments. It looks and if I say, this is the bit that I want to talk to Jan about since he's here. So if I hit cancel at the minute, that's obviously not what I want to do, but this instance that's returned, hopefully you can see that, then it has returned the selected version, which was the item that I selected in the combo box. It's returned the package parameters, and it's returned the install arguments. So now that we have those things collected, because I've bound the view model that I'm passing in, I bound that into the YAML, so those are now coming back to me in here. Now in here, we could then do stuff. Now, the thing that wasn't clear to me, Jan, based on the... hold on. To be some kind of offset there. I think it does indeed need some control plus Jan magic. But the part that I wasn't clear on from the demo custom dialog app, Jan, was when I've changed this up. So I've changed this up now to have a user control. So that user control is where I'm doing the install arguments, the package parameters. I've added in these buttons because I kind of want those, but I don't see how using this approach, which is a straight up user control, and then passing in and creating the custom control like this to allow passing in of the view model, I don't see how I can control the buttons and how they come back. So how do I know which one I've pushed on? Comes in like a wrecking ball, Stevie says. So slight tangent. My heater has just come on in the background. Did you all hear it come on? Or is the setup that I'm using for the mic still cancelling out that background noise? Kim's saying he can't hear it. Maurice is saying he doesn't know what heater I'm talking about. Amazing, right? Good stuff. So, don't hear anything. You can hear me though, Stevie, right? I don't know if you heard at the start of there, Stevie, but my Windows machine went away over the week, and I've had to rebuild my OBS setup on my Mac. So I'm now streaming directly from the Mac rather than my Windows machine, which I was doing before. Then take your finger. So the might need your phone. The couple of things I would like to figure out on stream tonight, hopefully, if Jan is willing to help, is that one, I need to figure out how to hook up these two buttons into the response that I get back to know which button was pushed. And if we can get that part working, what I would like to do next is to look into how that we actually pass or use those package parameters or those install arguments, and how we actually pass those along to the install command to actually install a package with those additional arguments. So one thing, can we fix search while we're at it? Specifically, Stevie, what's wrong with search? If you can point me an issue, then when you can discuss it. The hide metro app needs an await. It does indeed. So yes, I would need an await here. Good call. Visual Studio Code yields no results. Are we talking specifically about Chocolatey GUI at this point, or we are talking about on this website? Chocolatey GUI gives VS Code gives you a result. Okay. Gonna take that out a second. Yeah. Oh, I would need to pass async into the handler, or I would need to pass. It's like it's only looking at the actual package name, maybe. I mean, I'm fairly sure that we just give it over to Chocolatey to do that, but let's see if we can at least replicate it, and then we'll see. So you want me to search for Visual Studio Code? I'm going to search. So if I go into the site, comes up for me, Stevie. Do you? I take it you don't see this. I am magic. It's a ticket. Okay. To answer Jan's question, I believe, I'm not sure if I've pushed up. Let me check. So CD into C, GitHub, organizations, Chocolatey GUI. I'm just gonna, well, let's just check. Be right back. So let's just see what changes we've got here. We did a bunch of stuff. SAML, service, model. So let's just go ahead and stage all of this. Nowhere near working. Smiley. Commit. So let's do that, and let's do a git push origin. So you should find that, Jan, on my fork. So let me just bring that up. And then advanced dialog branch is here. So I'm going to put this into the chat room there. So that is the branch I'm currently working on. It's now got the most recent code on it, Jan. Oh, what was that? I think I'll get a PR soon for that. Maybes. So, where I wanted to get to was within here, within this callback handler as we currently have it, I then want to call, oh, that's what I was going to say. Can Maurice or Kim or Manfred, if he's still around, Stevie, sure. I would like I want to run a test. So if I can get this working, I want to do an installation test of a package, passing in package parameters, and I want to see if it worked or not. So do any of you know a package out there that we could pass an installation argument to, or a package parameter to see if the custom installation worked correctly? So off the top of your head, if you know of any on the community repository, sure. That I've already got that one installed. So Git and VS Code are already installed on here, I think. So, and I don't really want to mess with those. So, oh, that's going to be annoying as well. Allow unofficial. So VS Code is and Git is as well. So if there's another package out there that we can mess around with that will accept either an install argument or a package parameter for testing purposes. Is the Veeam backup for OS3? Is that the gargantuan one that takes? Is that a massive package? I'm thinking a small one, a small package. VLC could do. So can you construct a package parameters for me, Stevie? That would. So basically, into the chat room or onto Slack, a Chocolatey installation command that would result in a custom installation so that we can pass it through and see if it works. That would be great. Because where I would like to get to is I want to call install. and I want to pass in, I want to do stuff. So what does this do currently? So let's go to implementation here and we'll see what it does. So it is doing a bunch of stuff, which is to so we're going to need to pass in an instance of our view model, I think, into here. Now the question is, do I do that as a override to the install package command that takes a view model, and if that view model is there, we'll map the properties, or do I do it as a standalone? You know what? I think I am going to put it on as a overload, I think. So let's go here and say install package, and in here we're going to break some stuff. So we're going to say, what's my view model called? Advanced install? What did I call it? Advanced install view model. Are these in different projects? Or is it's in GUI common? That's going to be problematic because it's over here. So I put it into, let's have a look and see what I put it. That's the install view model. It has do I need that? Is that gonna break if I take that out? It is. Okay, thank you both. No desktop shortcut. Oh, that could be a good one. And server. So for your one, Maurice, how would I know that what I've passed in there actually took? Could I open the application to see those two things? Because with Stevie's one, I could say it says no desktop shortcut, so I'm assuming there would be no desktop shortcut. So if there's something we can verify as well after doing the install, that would be good. How are we going to do this? There should be one on your one. There should be one icon on your desktop and not two. Okay. Cool. So we could test out both of those. But how am I going to do this? Cool. That's another good one. The current boggle that I have is that I want to bring. I have a view model that is my advanced install view model. Now, it has a dependency on Windows because it's coupled to the I command. So what is the Sheepit client? I'm curious now. What on earth is the Sheepit client? I'll have to go and dig that out in a bit. So this view model lives in the Chocolatey GUI Common Windows DLL. However, the Chocolatey, I could map it so that it. Interesting. Stevie, a deal told me to bug. That's mean. Is a deal on the chat, or is he just is he lurking? That's mean. I should ask Stevie, are you feeling better? I hope you are. Quite right, Stevie. You deserve it. So I could map the advanced. What are we going to do? Do we have AutoMapper in this thing? I think we do. We're using AutoMapper. We say we are. We do. What are we going to do here? I think we should. Let's have a model class. Let's just bite the bullet, shall we? Let's just have another class in here that is advanced install, right? And then over here, I'm going to take stuff from my view model, and I am going to. This is just going to have properties, yes. So let's just borrow some of these things. And some of these we won't need. Let's just borrow them all. And I'm going to put them into here. And then this is just going to be a getter and a setter instead. Okay. Semantic version. I think we've got access to that one. Yep, we do. Let's take this one out. Let's take this one out. Available versions we won't actually need. It's just the selected version. Won't need the selected version either, because if we look at the install command, it was already passing the version. So we won't need that. Package parameters we will need. So we can do that. We can do that. Do that. And we can do that. Okay, get rid of all this stuff. Okay, so far so good. I'm not sure if I want to click it. I'm going to pass. That's a hard pass. Is it just an image from a search of? I'm gonna hard pass on that. So this is going to be advanced install. Advanced install options, we'll call it. And I'm going to default that to null. Okay, so if we go over here into our install command, which was here, we are going to put in our advanced install, advanced install options, and that's going to be null as well. Okay, hold on. Oh, how do I? Oh, it's over there. Hold on then. Copy. Let's open up Google. And we're going to say this one. Sit down. We need to talk. Love it. The cat memes. Right, so that's in here. And dun, 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 we're going to say that if advanced options is not equal to null. Now this is where we get a little bit, this is where it gets a little bit interesting. But for now, we're going to say config dot install arguments is equal to advanced install options install arguments, right? And then we're going to say config dot package parameters is equal to advanced install options dot package parameters. To do. This needs to be better, right? Smiley face. So if we then simply call, let's borrow all of this. Let's borrow all of this. Task install. We could probably, we'll refactor that as well. Let's just borrow it just now. We're going to say style cop really doesn't like something here. Wait. How do I make this thing? Is it as simple as that? I'm going to guess not. Quick actions, move argument to the next line, introduce, show. Beautiful. Okay. We could do that. Yeah, I mean, it's what I'm. It wasn't so much that specific thing, Kim. It was more. There may be it may require additional handling. But what you're saying there is just that, effectively, right? So we can definitely do that, but there may. It's not always just a direct mapping between the two. We might have to dig into some of the parameters of the Chocolatey configuration object to make it happen. So version, I don't even know what it's getting that from, because this might want to be selected version. Ooh, we could do it that way. So if advanced options dot, no, it's called instance here, isn't it? If instance dot selected version, then we're going to pass it in instance dot selected version. Otherwise, we'll pass in the version. But this might be complaining because cannot change it to a bool. So selected version here is a semantic version, so that wants to be a toString as well then. Okay. If selected version is not equal to null, let's do it that way. Yep, but then don't need an if statement then. You're talking about this one or this one? Oh, you were talking about that one. Okay, fine. So in there, this is getting a little bit busy. Let's bring this down. Let's bring this down. Let's bring this down. And then we also want to pass in instance. No, that's not going to work, is it? Because that needs to be, we need to map that. So the advanced install option not equal to null. Sure, yeah, perfect. Go for it. So this is going to be horrible, but let's do this just now. Var advanced options is equal to new advanced install. I can spell that right in a second. No, didn't want you. Just want you. I'll need to bring in a namespace, that's fine. So then in here, we're going to say advanced options dot install arguments is equal to instance dot install arguments, and advanced options dot package parameters is equal to instance dot package parameters. Don't ever do this at home, because there are other ways of doing it, but we're going to pass it in like this. Why are you... Oh, there's a force on there, so we said false. Do that. Then that's good, okay. And I need a comma. Okay. So in theory, right, let's love it. Right, so the first example that I see here is Nginx. So let's install that directly. So Choco install Nginx, and I'm going to need to pass in allow unofficial, right? So if I pass that in without any package parameters, then I should have put a confirm on there too. It's going to put it into, let's see if it tells us. Install, please specify a different port number. Port 80 is already in use. Okay, so we're not going to use Nginx because we're not going to mess around with that. Firefox. Do I have Firefox already installed? I already have Firefox installed, so that rules that one out. I don't really want to mess around with that either. Veeam backup. Okay, so let's try that. So if I do Choco install Veeam backup for Microsoft Office without any parameters, that never gets old, does it, Stevie? Unofficial. Waterfox, we could do that. We do that, that'll work. Package, Veeam, I spelled it wrong. Veeam, backup. Oh, for Office 365, my bad. Lisa's probably shouting at me. 365. Yep, he was shouting at me. Let's do this. Oh, 0, 1, 2. Okay. 20 minutes. So you said that there should be things on my desktop. So once this installs, installing Veeam backup for Microsoft Office 365. I have 2 desktop shortcuts here. So if I do a Choco uninstall, let's just do this. If I do Choco uninstall, so those should go away, hopefully. And we have 2 icons there. So you're saying, Maurice, if I pass in the package parameters of server and PowerShell, that won't happen. So let's give it a try, shall we? Once it's uninstalled. Okay, so they're gone. Right, let's give this a try then. See how we got on. Let's go ahead and run this. And see where we get to. I'm excited to see if this works. Let's maybe just put a breakpoint here as well. Let's see how we go on. Maurice. I told you that was your nickname. I told you. Anyway. Let's make this a little bit smaller again. So we come over here and we'll search for, let's try our search again that Stevie mentioned wasn't working. We'll search for Veeam backup. So VEEAM backup. And then see what that gives us. Veeam backup for this one, I'm going to assume. Veeam backup. Okay, cool. So we're going to do an install advanced, and we're going to get to my amazing background here. So let's just choose the first one, and I'm going to pass in the parameters that are server and PowerShell. Okay. Where did his video go? Can everyone still see me okay? Oh, okay. So I'm going to say cancel. And at this point, instance package parameters are server and PowerShell. So if we step through this, then our advanced options that we're passing in have now got server and PowerShell. We're passing those in. Let's see what happens, shall we? So I'm expecting that this is going to do some stuff. And if we minimize this a little bit and bring our Chocolatey GUI instance back, let's see what happens. Okay, cool. I'm still worried about my OBS setup, to be honest. But it's holding up so far. It's holding up. Dun dun dun. Oh, I see one desktop icon there. And I see it complete. Huzzah! I think that worked. I think it worked. Now I think the dialogue didn't go away because of the async await thing that Jan mentioned, but I think we just passed in custom package parameters to a Chocolatey package installed through Chocolatey GUI. When will you ship it? So I'm thinking the time between the 0.16 release and the 0.17 release was about 2 years. So I think going by that, 2022. What do you think? Will we ship it in 2022? Stevie's saying 3. Oh dear. Okay, but anyway, that part worked. So I'm in. Oh, come on now. I think that worked. So let's go back to this other suggestion, which was, have you got an example, Kim, of the? Well, that was the WaterFox package. Can you let me know the exact install arguments that would be necessary to make it that install directory change work? So I would like to test the install arguments as well, if you don't mind. So I'm going to go ahead and do something first. So I'm also going to, this whole time, I'm hoping you haven't noticed, but this whole time I've been on my wee bike that I've bought. So it's about time for me to come off my bike now. So I'm hoping it hasn't been too distracting. But I've literally been pedaling away here for the last 45 minutes or so. So I'm going to come off my bike. I'm going to stand for a little bit instead. So give me a sec. So bobbing up and down a little bit, but hopefully it wasn't too distracting. I'm not even going to try that one, Stevie. No. What I am going to do though is I'm going to do again Choco uninstall Veeam, so that comes out. But yeah, my new bike, it's amazing. It's a desk bike. So my standing desk, my sit-stand desk, is now a stand cycle desk. So if I'm not standing, the idea is that I am cycling. So it's been going well so far, I have to say. I'm quite impressed with it. It's actually pretty cool. I'm genuinely impressed with it. It's got a little monitor thing that tells you how far you're going and stuff. Just a Bluetooth connection to the bike. So you can produce your why do you do so that's a new piano and a desk bike that Stevie's away to be buying. Or you can do setup, install arguments, dir to power my Windows. So if I can get my Windows machine to boot again, absolutely, let's do that. So I'm going to come back. I've got one more thing I want to test you on, and then I'm going to come back to both of those PRs. So give me 1 sec. So if I do Choco install inno setup, allow unofficial, or you can use inno setup with install arguments dir equals path to install. So let's run this to see what it puts it initially, and then we'll do a test with the install arguments to see where it went after that. So let's do this. So inno setup, and it went into C program file. So if we bring that up, so C program files, x86, inno setup 6. So that's it there. Okay, so Choco you know what? Let's just do this. This desk site. Oh, not quite. Hold on. Let me make sure that that's the right ones for you, Stevie. That's not it. It's similar, but what I went with was this one. Let me just show you it. So that's this one. They look very similar in this, so it's more of a whole thing. So rather than sitting and cycling, which what desk cycle seemed to be doing, you're actually sitting on a full-blown thing. I got recommended it from a guy called Geert in the community. Geert Van Horik told me about it, and I've been genuinely impressed with it. So it wasn't the cheapest bike in the world, I'll be honest. That was the one little thing that, but I've been using it every day since I've got it. Hi, Adil. I'll be. Okay, hold on. Okay, so let's do this. So I uninstall. So I've got a test now with inno setup. So let's try that. So we're uninstalling inno setup, which went into C program files. So if we put it into C temp, new folder, let's just call it inno. So I'm going to put it into here then. So back to Chocolatey GUI, fire this thing up. And let's see if we can get our install args to work. So what Kim suggested was, you see, I had this happen to me before, but I couldn't figure out why. But maybe it was the crash. Users, ignorant, app data, local, Chocolatey GUI. Nuke those things. Yeah, but I'm wondering whether it was specifically me closing. I'd like to know how to reproduce it, basically. It was more so I know. Well, I see what you're saying. Okay, it was more so I know where it was going. I knew where it was going. But yeah, no, I see what you're getting at. The only thing about the desk bike, I will say, Stevie, is the one that I got needs you to have a standing desk. You can't be sitting on that bike on a normal height desk. So the one that you found doesn't need to be a standing desk in order for it to work. Next time it happens, if I can get it to happen again, Kim, I'll need to get Lock Hunter out, or as you say, Xproc to find out what's locking it. But if we go over here and we look for inno setup, and we'll go into the advanced options for this guy. We'll let this run. So let's pick that one again. And this time round, we are going to do, where did I go? /dir equals C temp inno. Let's keep it simple. Okay, so this time we're doing install arguments. So we'll hit cancel again, and we'll let this run through. And we'll let this run through. And let's see what happens. Shall we? Oh, I saw. Ooh, look at that. Look at that. Install arguments are working as well. Awesome. Right. I'm happy with that. I am. Okay, so that's, both of those things are working. So there's obviously, I'll come back to that. There are other arguments. There are other arguments that we will likely need to pass in to that advanced options, whether it's force, whether it's pre-release, whether it's custom source, lots and lots of things. x86, yes. So what we'll need to do is we'll need to compile a list of all the options that we want to put onto that modal, that custom dialog, and then we'll have to map them through into the Chocolatey configuration object that ultimately gets passed to the install command. So now you see, Stevie. You're just making my job harder. So the answer to the question is yes, they would. Well, yes and no. Mother Hubbard. Because those arguments should only be visible and therefore settable when we're running the licensed version of Chocolatey. Now, and that's what Maurice is getting to. Sensitive is a Chocolatey for Business feature only. Now, in the so let's just say it's Chocolatey licensed. So we'll draw the line there. So there's potentially arguments that are for Chocolatey licensed only. Now, what we do have, we haven't shipped it yet. It's getting very close. We now have a Chocolatey GUI license extension in the same way that we have a Chocolatey license extension. Now that brings up certain functionality within Chocolatey GUI when you have the license extension for Chocolatey GUI installed. Now, in theory, we could, with the presence of the Chocolatey GUI license extension, we could make additional options available in that modal dialog. And then if they are set, pass them along for the ride when we call the install command. I would say that that would be a future feature on this particular thing. I think we should work in the immediate future on getting the open source features working through this dialog, and then extend it to include the license features only. That makes sense? I thought that was my. Everyone is laying claim to making. Pick a line. Pick. What is it? What do you say? Pick a number. Get in line. Pick a number. Chocolatey GUI 090. I think so. But see, if we do it right, though, Maurice, it shouldn't matter. The root work should be done in Chocolatey GUI to light up those features, and then with a new version of the Chocolatey GUI license extension, the additional features should just work. Right? So it's always the idea behind the Chocolatey GUI license extension, the same way as the Chocolatey license extension, is it's always additive. If you add the extension in, things light up. If you take it away, they go away. So there wouldn't be anything in Chocolatey GUI open source that would couple it directly to the license features. That's what the license extension is for. Anyone else suddenly got a... Oh, really? What sort of... an error code? Oh, come on now. Don't mess with me. Been hanging from time to time, but nothing new here. Back after a real... Okay, cool. So, what's your serious question, Adil? I'm happy to take a error code 2000. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not seeing anything from my side. See, I knew you were going to say that, but I'm also you weren't here for the start of this, Adil. My Windows machine blew up. There's no other way of putting it. My Windows machine stopped working after I turned on folding at home, and since then I've been scared to put it back on again. Oh, look at that! Look at Jan. Jan has steamed ahead. What happened there? Jan has got some serious hardware. Look at that. Can we get some details on him? He's only done 52 worker units as well. Wow. He must have a very serious GPU. What sort of GPU have you got there, Jan? You're kicking everybody's ass. Wow. Super efficient. Mother Hubbard. That's a great saying, isn't it, Stevie? I love that one. Yeah, and it's super efficient. Some stats. Oh, hold on. We can get some more stats, can't we? Let's do this. Copy. Paste. What have we got here? Got bonus. Team, that one. Project, that one. These CPUs have returned work in the last 90 days. Oh, I see. Last credit. How? See, I would. This is the part. Core Bob is. He gets over 100,000 on GPU folding, twice the amount as me. Wow. He has some serious kit. I'm thoroughly jealous now. Thoroughly jealous. It's more of a paperweight. This thing down here is now it's a paperweight. This thing I've got. My GPU must do some work while I'm not. Quite right. Quite right. Right. 2080. See, I don't even know what that is. Once upon a time, I was quite well versed in computer hardware, but I've not been following along. I'll be honest. But what I was going to do before I forget is I was going to go and have a look at some of these PRs that Jan has put in. Oh hell, Jan! NVIDIA GTX 2080 Ti, currently the best GPU that you can get, and obviously the most expensive. Copy. How much does one of those things cost me then? Wow. Wow. Stevie, do you want one? You can put it put it on the same order as your new piano and your desk bike. GeForce ROG Strix OC PCI Express graphic. That is a serious bit of kit. Look at it. Look at it, Stevie. It's got 3 fans on it. Wow. Oh, it's got nifty red LEDs too, Stevie. That's just. I need to. That's just crazy talk. That really is. Triple fan cooler design. 11 gigabytes. Wow. That's just crazy. It's let's be honest, that wouldn't even go in the machine that I have. I would need a new power supply to feed that bad boy. It's a PC, and indeed it is. I can't go for that price though. £1,400. Wow. No. Crazy talk. I could play Minecraft on Ultra. Anyway, right, sorry. So pull request. Jan's put in a pull request. Changes for advanced dialogue on Monday stream. Let's have a look and see what Jan's done here. Fix YAML part. Use task completion source. Oh, okay, so this is the part that I was interested in. Okay, so oh, he's fixed my combo. Looks like. Oh dear. Thank you very much. So what we've got? We removed the close handler. I was curious about that. So remove the close handler. Added a task completion source. Still using the simple command. So the simple command I noticed in the Mat Apps demo application, Jan. But is it literally a simple command that we can kind of reuse across multiple places, or is there, because there's already a relay command that we have? Do we need the simple command, or can we use something else? I literally grabbed it from the demo app just to make things work. So then on the result, we're setting. I see. and then this is the context for this thing. Got it, which is returning itself. Makes sense. And then in here, we're removing the dialog coordinator from there. We're just passing that in. Then we're awaiting it, looking at the result, and then hiding. Gotcha. Okay, that makes sense. I see what we're doing. So, I thought ray tracing specifically though. See, I'm getting confused in all this chat. The relay command. Okay, so we might be able to switch out the simple command for the relay command. So, okay, so let's do this then. I'm going to say this looks amazing, and I'm going to pull this in. And we'll merge that in. And we will say punker. Have I got it? I will have it here. PRT. Let's do this. Okay. Should. You're quite right. You're quite right, Maurice. So let's do that. And then let's do git stash everything. Git stash apply. Git add everything. Git stash. Git fetch origin. Git rebase origin. Advanced that. Git. Now we're going to get a merge conflict here. I assume. Let's see if we can fix that up. Oh no. Oh goodness no. What? Oh no. That's definitely not what we wanted. How do I get out of vimdiff? It's colon QWQ. I'm so stuck. Oh, I forgot my exclamation mark, of course. Nah, that didn't work either. Oh, there we go. Whew. I don't even know what get status. Alt F4. That was vimdiff specifically, so I think it was slightly different there because it was trying to handle the saving of the file specifically. But why is my diff tool not set up? What if I'll take a note of that. Hold on. Why is it not set up? Choco list. Only. Huh. That should have set that up. Get diff and merge tool not working. Oh, well, got a note of it anyway. I mean, that's kind of what I was getting at, Maurice. It should have already been set up. So I'm confused as to why it isn't, to be honest. Because in here, the package that I've installed is this one, this one, this one. It should have already been set up. I'll need to dig into that and see what's going on there. Oh, sorry, I'd just seen the Alt F4. Any dev fails for that. Talk to you later, deal. Have a good one. Right, but where do we get to? Because I think it's. I'm not convinced that the current state of this package view model is what we want. See, it's not. It hasn't resolved the diff. But let's just do it inside Visual Studio. Reload all, and we'll just deal with it. Okay, so because what Jan added was all of this stuff, so let's do this. Let's cut this and let's take that out. I'll stick this up here beside what we've done here. And then if the result is, so let's remove this part. And we didn't need that anymore, didn't need that. So we were going to do this then. And then I feel that we are missing something here. Let's remove that. And then are we all lined up? That's an if for there. And then we need to take this out. So its instance is result now instead of that. So we can borrow, define cannot use local variable result before it's declared. What's going on there? You have result twice. Where do I have result twice? Oh, I have it here. Sorry, no, you're right. Thank you for that. Package install result. So that's this one, this one, this one, this one, and this one. Let's remove this guy. Okay. So then this result is this result. So then instance is there, instance is there, instance is there. And then that is this one. Okay. So what we've done here, let's do a build, make sure. Yeah. So not. Okay, so that worked. So now if we go up to, let's put a breakpoint here and remove that. See where we get to. Let's go in here. And the one we did was NO setup. So looks like we should be able to do that one again. So if we search for NO setup one more time. Note to self, do not open the mod view and the normal stream view, you'll hear a Gary echo. Notice it. Oh, I see what you're talking about there. Oh, look at that. So our version is... Oh, I see what you did. See? It's these small touches, Jan. It's these small touches. I like it. So let's do that. And let's do... What was it? /dir equals that. And then... But if we say cancel this time, we should get back to here and our result is null. So we'll just step over and we won't do anything. Beautiful. And then if we come into here and we select our package version and we say /dir equals that guy. And this time if we say install, then our result should be the instance of that thing that has our install arguments. And then if we step through this, that. And if we let this go, then we see our console output. And then over here, we should also see. So I thought about that, Maurice. I had thought that, and I don't disagree with you. Don't disagree at all. Choco uninstall. Don't disagree. But that brings up to the reason I haven't done anything with that yet is because last week we spoke around the potential for having it restricting the number of versions that it puts into there. Because what we suggested is that something like Firefox Nightly or VLC Nightly or whichever one it was would have a lot of package versions in there. So I haven't thought about how we do that yet. So that's one of the reasons I left it. But that looks good in terms of what we've done there. So, okay, both versions have a lot of versions. But I think this is making progress, folks. I really do. Yes, no, absolutely. So I'm almost tempted to say that. So there's a couple of things that are going through my head. So let's maybe talk them through, and I'll write them down so that they're not just in my head. There was something that I'd thought about, and it's gone out of my head. Oh, what was it? Oh no, I know what it was. But it's not for, it was a different conversation to this one. Okay. Let's take some notes here. Chocolatey GUI. So the first thing, it's the way I work. It's the way I work. I can't help it. If we go here and go in here. So the first thing that we're going to say is selected version is latest version by default. I agree. Now, what was in here? Do I know he's using analog notebook? I am. It is, if it's any consolation, I have pen and paper on my desk all the time for this sort of thing. Yep, me too. So regarding this, so I am envisioning restricting this to a number of version numbers, but I'm wondering whether I can take that out a second. I'm wondering whether we want to make that a configuration option. So should we add a configuration option here that is a number of historical package versions? Does that make sense? restrict combo box to only show certain number of package versions. Default to the last 20. Okay. Default 20 and make it configurable. Okay, I like it. 0. I like it. 0. All versions. Okay, I like it. Should maybe be an option in dialog. So that's where I was going to come to next. So let's imagine the situation that we've got a new configuration option here that defaults to 20, right? So we go back to here and we go back into our install advanced, and we are going to show by default the list of 20 ordered by newest first down the way. We're going to show the last 20 package versions. How do we, or what do we do to go and fetch other specific or older package versions? What do we do? What UI do we put in here to allow fetching of other ones? No, you're right. I haven't updated Chocolatey Live. No, I didn't want to muddy the water with this discussion yet. We can try it just before the close of the stream. We can try it. Button 3, button with load more dot dot. So what does that load more button do? Does it just go and grab the next 20, or does it grab all of them, or does this field here become something you can type a version number into? So in the absence of fetching a specific version, should you be able to write a version number in there, assuming you know it? So Stevie wants a more dot 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 in combo box to fetch next batch of version numbers. Okay, I like it. Next 20, next 20. Okay. But okay, so follow-up question was, should this be something they can write a version number into directly? I would say the version should have been found by Chocolatey GUI. That is also possible to write a custom. So we've got conflicting. So Stevie, you're the deciding vote. Should this version number here, this box, should you be able to write a version number directly into it? What do we think? I don't trust them either. Okay, so we're going to say not allowed to write a specific version number. Okay, I agree. Now we could make it a toggle that they can put on. No, let's come back to it. Okay, so where we're going to close out today then is we are going to so if no version is selected, Jan, I think so if we do the first part, which was it should open with the so by default I think it should be like this, because that's the equivalent of what we've got today. So if they just hit the install command, they get the latest version. So I think the install advanced should default to that, and therefore they can't unselect. They'll always have a version number selected. So I think that makes sense there. To extend a little, I would say to write a custom number, but it should be verified by Chocolatey GUI that that number actually exists. So I would see that as another feature on the feature. So if we do this version number is verified before attempting installation. Okay. In fairness, though, so maybe we should let's just do it before I say any more. Let's do this. I'm going to close this down. And I am going to say that we want to go up to here. And we want to say manage NuGet packages for solution. And I'm going to go in here. And I'm going to add a new one. That is local packages. Let me go here. And I'm going to say C temp packages. And I'm going to say there. I'm going to go to my local packages. And I'm going to go to updates. Now, why are you not finding it? Chocolatey lib. Oh, I need to include pre-release, that's why. Sorry, I'm catching up. Default's good. That's a second callback though. Yep, which would slow down UX. Should be searchable by typing. Searchable. Searchable by version number. Maybe. Not today. So I'm going to update this guy. So I'm going to say this one, and I'm going to update this one. Right? Update. So which one did we say had a lot of version numbers? Firefox Nightly? VLC Nightly? Maybe. That might be doable. Is that a function, Jan, you might know off the top of your head? Is that a function of combo box where if you type into the box, it'll give you it'll filter down to what's already in the combo box. So if we do this, this might break stuff. This might break a lot of stuff. Ooh, I like it. I like it. See, this is all broken now. I mean, we can fix it, but a lot of other stuff might be broken too. So let's do C program data chocolatey config. Let's grab you. Let's go to C GitHub organizations chocolatey GUI source chocolatey GUI bin debug paste. And then let's stop you. Oh, bye Stevie. Thank you for dropping by. Siri.
Just a sec.
Go away, Siri. I wasn't talking to you. I said Stevie. Let's see if we can fix this particular one. See users. I know I said I was going to look into this, but not today. App data, local, chocolatey GUI. That's not going to let me, is it? close that. Try again. One more time. So, okay, hold on. I never wrote that one down. Toggle between pre-released numbers and not. Okay. WPF has a simple search. Okay, cool. Good to know. So we might be able to use that then. I will wait to put a link there before I leave. Get. That was the same error the other guy had as well. The locking of the. We're talking. Maurice, are you talking about the locking of the? Yeah, I think you are. But now this is either going to work or it's going to fail. See, I told you. Told you. Who are you? Passed in here. Let's just run it again. Usage of PowerShell version. Oh, we're into a whole world of hurt now. Oh my goodness. So, call stack. Where are you being called from? Really? Doesn't give me the call stack. Fine. Choco. Config. Don't do this at home, people. Allow an official build equals true. And there. I'm basically going to have to put this everywhere. Now this is only because I'm using the unofficial build of Chocolatey lib. Normally you'd never have or never want to do what I'm doing here. But for the sake of what we're trying, I just want to see if I can get the list of all the variables, the list of all the versions to come up. Fine, let's just see if we get this. Oh, did I get them mixed up again? I'm sorry. I think I should change my name to Slack. On Slack. Don't do that. Oh, why did that come up? Oh. Oh. I'm not. Oh. Why did that come up? Okay, it's basically working. Let's try this. I clicked it. Oh, there was a slight delay there. There was a slight delay there loading that one up. So it's got quite a few. Okay, let's cancel this and let's go into VLC nightly. Okay. Right. I'm going to click the button. Okay, yep. I'd never noticed that, but let's do it here. I'm going to click the button now. Well, that's quite a long time. Oh, that's quite a long time. There's quite a lot of things happening there. That's oh, there we go. There's quite a few in there, isn't there? And that's unusable. I mean, you would never do that. But yes, I agree. So there's no sorting currently on the version numbers. But that was unusable. Sort order of package versions. Oh, there is. There is some. I mean, Chocolatey, the Choco list command will do some sorting for us, but it's unlikely to be in the order that we want it to be. So I've literally just run the command and just grabbed the values out of it. There's no thought went into how that could be done. So what Kim's saying, or not, what Jan is saying, is we could move the loading of the packages into the dialog and show it with a small loading circle. As in just here. I like it. I like that. But even then, so I think what this is proven though is that allowing all package versions by default is potentially problematic. So we wouldn't want to by default allow all package versions to be shown. But I do like the idea of this kind of a little loading dialog here saying that it's populating this list. I think that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. So I'm trying to think how I would do that. Admiring worm. At least we have 2 in common. 3 letters, but none in common. Try it. Okay. So we're coming close to the top of the hour. So there's a couple other things I wanted to talk about. And one of them is directed at Jan. So Jan was working on the ability for a command menu service so that we can control, based on the presence of things, which menu items appear in these context menus. So it's a context menu service. Can we do something similar, Jan, to control what buttons appear down here? So in the same way that we can control what context menus are visible, can we control what buttons are visible on this footer bar that we have here? I think the answer is yes. I just wanted to confirm that with you. And the second follow-up question is, if we can do that, can we also make these things, can we also control the type of buttons that are shown? Specifically, we spoke around, I forget what it's called now. Was it a step button? A split button, i.e. we would want to make some of them a split button and other ones not a split button. Is that something that we can control in a service similar to what you were creating for the context menu service? I'm going to write down that one while we remember. Move loading of package versions into dialog with loading. Okay. So the other thing, while I have at least 2 folks who will have some input on it on the chat room, let's have a look through chocolatey.org. Let's look through our docs and let's look at the install command. So of these, so I would call it activity service. Maybes. Because I already have one called allowed command service activity service. Yeah, I mean that's as that would make sense to me. Yeah. So options and switches on the install command or an action service. Either I think would work. Install command. Let's go through the available switches and let's have a yes or a no for whether we need to put them in the modal. So debug and verbose. I'm going to say that we don't need those because the default logging once we fix it will be to put that into the log file anyway. So we don't need that. So we don't need debug and verbose. And then by extension, we don't need trace. No color, no. Accept license, no. Yes or confirm, that's already taken care of. Force is already taken care of by virtue of doing the reinstall. So is there any reason that you would want to allow the force command or the force argument when you're doing an install? What do we think about that? And I'll wait for a response. Okay, I agree. Oh, controversial. Why would you want to force on a fresh install? Maurice, hit me. I can't think of one either, Kim. So I'm waiting to see what Maurice comes back with. And then we'll move on to the next one. Right, but that's handled differently. So that's what I was getting at. So over here, if we go to our what's installed, I don't know why they're not showing up, but let's see if we can force them to. So I can't show you it, but in this PC, if it's already installed, then the reinstall command already takes care of doing the force. So I don't think we need that one. So I'm going to say no to force. I'm going to say no to the no op. I'm going to say no to the limit output. Timeout, I think we need that one. I think we need the ability to specify that. Would we agree? Okay. Cache location. Would we want that? I mean, that can obviously be set at a global level in Chocolatey, but would we want the ability to control the cache location? Okay, fine. Allow an official, no. Fail on standard error. What do we think about that one? Okay. Use system PowerShell. I don't think we want to. That would bring up more questions than anything else. So I'm going to say no to use system PowerShell. No progress. We don't need. Proxy. Would we want or need to be able to bring out the proxy configuration options? Config setting in GUI. So it is already a config setting in Chocolatey. Absolutely, you can do that. So today you could go over to settings. You could go over to Chocolatey and you can control that over here. So you can already do that today, absolutely. Okay, so no to proxy, no to proxy, no to proxy, no to proxy, no to proxy. Log file, would you want to be able to control where the install that you're currently doing has been written to? Okay, I tend to agree. Log file. Now the source is an interesting one, because by virtue of coming to here and going to this one and then going to install advanced, we already know what source this package is coming from. Now the only thing that's different on is if we enable the all sources view. It should be automatically set, yes, and it will be, but if we browse to it from the all sources view, then you're on your own. So not on source. So let me clarify with both of you. We want or we don't want the source property? So we, oh, I see what you're saying. So don't provide the source property in the advanced install dialog. Have them go to it from the specific source on the left-hand side. Is that what we're saying? I would say no for source property, only GUI should. Okay, fine, I agree. Version, we've said will be there. Whether it's a pre-release or not, we should. So we won't need pre-release. We won't need it. So if we do what Kim's suggested and have the ability to, or will we? What I was going to say was, by passing the specific version number, even with a pre-release, it will install it. But that isn't true for any dependencies that are also pre-release. So I was thinking what Kim was thinking, but because of that potential for it to not flow through to the dependencies, I'm wondering whether we need the pre-release. What are your thoughts on that? I shall wait. And see if there's any thoughts on it. So I'm potentially talking to myself. Oh no, here we go. If the version being installed, then the pre-release should be set to true. Otherwise to false, not configurable. I'd say TBD. Okay, so what Kim's saying there is pre-release set based on selected version. Okay, I like it. So let's do that. Force x86, we've already spoken about. Force x86, we're going to include that. That's okay. I think I got what you were saying. I think we are agreed on that one. So we said Force x86 is needed. Install args, we've already got. We need those. Override args. Should install arguments be used exclusively without appending to the current past defaults to false? Override. I agree. Override args. And that's just a checkbox. Not silent. Would we ever want the GUI to pop up the installer? Possibly. Not sure. Okay, so let's put not silent, and I'll put a question mark beside it. Okay. Params, we've already said. Package parameters. Args global. Apply install args to dependencies. So if we're giving them the ability to set the arguments, the package parameters, then yes, I think we should pass him to allow that option. So I'm going to say args global is included. A checkbox behind the okay, yep, no, I see that. Checkbox beside -- IA, I get it. Params global, the same thing. Params global with a checkbox beside EP. Allow downgrade. Should an attempt at downgrading be allowed? Oh, Manfred, thank you very much for hanging out. Talk to you later. Allow downgrade. Okay. Maybe be implied based on whether it's already installed, maybe. Can maybe for this. Controversial one, side by side. Please try to get Chocolatey GUI released sometime soon. I will try my best, my friend. I will. I hope that wasn't a password. Or what's that? Oh, that's some sort of, that's a cheer, I think. Thank you very much, Manfred. It come up as, yeah, it doesn't matter. Yes and no on side by side. Yes and no. Controversial. I'll put a question mark beside that one. Ignore dependencies. I think that makes sense. I would want that. I'm going to put it in. Force dependencies. I think so. Force dependencies. It is going to be a long list. Skip PowerShell. Would we ever want that? I know it is useful, but it isn't recommended to not use it. I think Rob said no. Absolutely, that is definitely the guidance, Kim. So I've got a question mark at the minute by side. No on skip PowerShell. I think I'm the same. So I'm going to say no to it. I'm giving it a meh. Username and password, no. Well, no, because in order for the source to work at all, then that information will need to be provided anyway. So it would need to be an authenticated source. I agree with what both of you have said there. Cert and cert password is the same. Ignore checksums. I think we need to put that in. I don't like putting it in, but I think we need to put it in. Same for the allow empty checksum. And by virtue of that, we would need to allow. It's this one that I was thinking about. We would need them to allow the ability to add the checksums if they need to. So we need really a checksum section. checksum section with all of those things in it. Yeah. Allow empty checksum, secure checksum 64. I see. Checksum type. There's a long list. We're almost there though, I think. Ignore package codes. So no matter what package scripts provide for exit codes, overwrite the default. What do we think? I will actually say no on ignore allow checksums and only provide the ability to. I like what you're saying there, Kim. I'll have a think about that. So ignore package codes is a no. Okay. Use package exit codes. Both of those can be set via features. So I'm inclined to say no. Stop on first failure. That's more for a script as well. Exit when reboot detected. I'm going to say no. Ignore reboot. Again, those are features. The skip download cache is a license only feature. So if we do add that, it'll be in a separate thing. Use download cache, that's a license feature as well. SDC for license. It is useful, but it would be an additional option if the Chocolatey GUI license extension is used. Virus check is a license addition. Why are those links not rendering properly? I might have to speak to Steph about that. I'm going to grab a screenshot and I'm going to put that over here. Virus check is a license feature. Virus possible mins, license feature. Install arguments. Yeah, but I thought she was. There was a situation where maybe not. Maybe I'm thinking something different. I will bring it up with her. Package parameter sensitive, licensed. That's a licensed thing. Bits per second. Do we want to be able to control that? I don't think we want to. I don't think we do we? Oh, that is a licensed one. Sorry, I apologise. Reduce, that's a licensed. That's a licensed feature. That's a okay, fine. We've got. I'm going to count now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We've got like 21 different things to squeeze into this custom dialogue. I'm wondering whether we bring out the most useful ones at the top and then like an advanced section that brings down some of the other ones. It's going to be a Chocolatey GUI advanced install wizard. It will be. It's going to get quite busy, but it's fine. It's fine. It's all good. Okay, so I don't think I had much more to say on this. What I might do is let's have a look at what we've got on the go. Let's see what we've got going on in here. Actually, let's not just. So I'm going to reset that one. I'm going to reset that one because we don't want it. reset those. And reset those. Oh, reset that one too. Come back to that one. Oh, I've got another. Oh no, okay, I see. CS Proj. We can reset that one. 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 And reset that one. Stage this one. So the only thing that we've got left is blah blah blah. Blah blah. Advanced install. Advanced install. Okay, cool. I'm going to say work in progress. Things are working. Kind of. Commit that. And then let's do a git status, git push origin. Okay, so the question that you're asking there, Kim, is regarding the uninstall. So I'm assuming that what you're asking there is, do we need a similar thing for the install command, for the uninstall command? And absolutely, I think we do. I definitely think we do need that. It may be a smaller subset of arguments, but I think we would need those in there as well. It would be nice to polish off this UI a little bit and add in all these options and find a way of doing what we need to do. So for the install and the upgrade, yes, I think we're going to essentially use the same. We're going to use the same window for both the install and the upgrade, I think. And so isn't pin just pin? Chocopin -h allow unofficial. A lot of these aren't necessarily applicable to, it's mainly the top ones. So no, pin is just pin. But one of the requests that we've had is with regard to Chocoping. One of the feature requests that we've had is the ability to allow the download of a package. Now, what I'm thinking there is that in the open source version, we won't have it because it is a license feature. If you have a license that is the professional version, you would have a download, which is just the Choco download. Literally just go in the nupkeg and put it in a file, a folder somewhere. But in the business edition, you would have all of the internalized options available in the download command. One can download one package from the site. That is a license feature. Choco download is. So yeah, there is no Choco download command on open source. So I can run Choco download and it'll tell me that it's not there. But the download command is available in the professional version. So if we go up here and we go to product and compare, then in here, if we look for download, then in the pro command, it is there. It just doesn't have all of the internalized functions available to it. Yes, absolutely, absolutely. But it's more just to bring it's more to bring feature parity between Chocolatey and Chocolatey GUI. So I'm wondering, I'm going to put the download command in here, and then the download advanced. The reinstall advanced will potentially need all of those ones. So install, upgrade, and reinstall will kind of all use this one. And the uninstall will need a separate dialog. There is a pin command. Now, what other commands are there? I've now got my where is my service that I added? I put it into here, didn't I? Yeah, loud commands. So there's the pin, the install, the uninstall, and the upgrade. So pin we don't need an advanced one for. This one we've got an advanced for. This one we'll use the same one, and then uninstall we need a separate one. Download unlicensed could just download the package from the source. Download license could have an option to. So the complexity there is there's some complexity there. I don't really want to go into it tonight because I'm wrapping up. But there is some complexity there. But yes, I agree that there's some work to be done there. But I think we're making progress here. So thank you all for your attention and your help throughout the evening. I hope the OBS stream from my Mac is working. It seems to all work from this side. So I'm hoping that the final result is going to be okay. I don't know yet whether I'll be doing a stream on Friday, but if I do, it'll just be a continuation of this, maybe to start stubbing out more of the custom dialogue. But I think that's all I had. So I'm going to say thank you all very much. Jan, thank you for the PR that you sent up. I do appreciate it. Kim and Maurice for your input on what install commands or install arguments are needed and throughout the stream. Always a pleasure. And only thing I complain about is the 720p source instead of. Oh, hold on. The what now? Only thing I can complain about is the 720p source instead of the 1080 that it was before. I didn't knowingly change that. Hold on. Let me just have a quick check. It's something. My output is. Now there was something. Oh, maybe I'm changing that. Hold on, what now? There are enough pixels to count. Okay then. I'll take your word. Oh, you crack me up, Maurice. You really do. Right, anyway. I would have loved to have exported my settings from OBS before my machine crashed, but it wasn't to be. But anyway, I'm going to draw it to a close. So I'm going to switch to my ending stream scene. Hopefully that will work. And I will talk to you all another evening. Have a good one. Stay safe.